have you ever opened up a really complex ComfyUI workflow and just felt instantly overwhelmed by that massive, tangled web of overlapping cables? I mean, you're definitely not alone here. That messy spaghetti wiring is basically a universal pain point for all of us. It turns what should be an elegant creative process into an absolute unreadable puzzle. It gets to the point where sharing your workflow with a colleague or even just trying to troubleshoot a simple error becomes literally impossible because you can't even trace the logic through all that visual clutter.
Well, that's exactly what the Orion4D Metanode suite is designed to fix. It's an evolutionary leap that takes our standard node-based system and totally transforms it into a fully programmable, highly intelligent pipeline. In this explainer, we're going to explore exactly how this incredible toolset fundamentally changes how ComfyUI operates and how it completely clears out all that workspace clutter.
Okay, let's jump straight into our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering 1. Beyond traditional node limits. 2. PyCode Max, the brain. 3. The wireless variable bus. 4. Advanced UI and files. And 5. Modular Color Pro suite. We'll be using a fun anatomical metaphor to make sense of this highly technical suite.
Starting with Section 1, Beyond Traditional Node Limits. Let's look at the core problem with standard node setups.
Listen, this isn't just another custom node pack. It is a complete environmental upgrade, a true paradigm shift. It essentially transforms ComfyUI into a programmable environment where you can build your own tools, your own logic, and custom interfaces without waiting around for a developer to release a specific node for your niche use case. And crucially, it's built from the ground up to be fully compatible with the new standard Nodes v2, so your workflows are completely future-proofed.
Moving to Section 2, PyCode Max, the brain. This brings some unprecedented logic and control into our ecosystem.
PyCode Max safely runs actual native Python code directly inside your workflows. It accepts universal inputs, so we're talking text, integers, images, latents, even your own custom types. But the real game changer here, it maintains a persistent state between executions. So why does that actually matter? Well, it means you don't have to reinitialize heavy assets or reload massive datasets every single time you hit prompt. You load it once, it stays in the node's memory, and you save a massive amount of generation time. Oh, and for safety, it's got a configurable timeout to protect against infinite loops, plus a locked-by-default security mode, so you're never accidentally running malicious code from a shared workflow.
And this translates to some serious time savings, especially when you're working with AI models. Look, instead of building a crazy spiderweb of 10 different nodes just to get an LLM to evaluate an image, you can pass your ComfyUI image inputs straight to vision models like Lava or QN natively. The node literally handles the conversions for you. You get native element integration right out of the box, letting you prompt local models or unload them on the fly before running a heavy generation, all without writing any repetitive boilerplate code.
Alongside those LLM helpers, we get really powerful hardware monitoring using the NVIDIA ML library. This lets you track not just your PyTorch memory, but your total system VRAM usage right inside your scripts. We've all been there, right? You run an overnight batch generation, you wake up excited, only to find it failed at 95% because of an out-of-memory error. It's the worst. This specific tracking acts as the ultimate safety net. It allows your scripts to pause or dynamically clear the cache before a workflow crashing error even has a chance to happen.
On to Section 3, the wireless variable bus. Think of this as the nervous system of our ComfyUI annotated.
The Orion4D variable bus completely revolutionizes how we route data. Just think about your literal UI experience for a second. Instead of setting a variable way over on the far left of your screen and dragging a physical cable through 50 other nodes just to recall it on the far right, what if you didn't need a cable at all? You can share data between distant nodes using invisible, wireless auto connections that still perfectly maintain strong typing.
So how does it know where to go? It relies on what's called an identification triplet. It's kind of like a mailing address. Step 1, you give it a logical name, like main_prompt. Step 2, you specify its data type, like an image or a string of text. And step 3, you tell it exactly which phase to execute in. You declare this exact 3-step triplet in your set and get nodes, and boom, once the sender and receiver match, the connection happens completely invisibly behind the scenes. The dependency link just builds itself.
Okay, so you see the number 64. Why 64? That represents the absolute maximum number of variables held in the bus FIFO queue. When you hit that limit, an intelligent eviction process automatically kicks in. It pulls out the oldest variables and automatically releases your VRAM by emptying the PyTorch cache.
This is so much better than manual cleanup because it lets you stay completely immersed in your flow state. You don't have to stop what you're doing to manage memory. The system intelligently keeps everything fast and light, no matter how complex your routing gets.
All right, Section 4, Advanced UI and Files, or continuing our metaphor, the senses.
These are the tools that allow your workflow to see, filter, and interact with the outside world. Normally, managing assets in ComfyUI means constantly alt-tabbing between the app and your Windows Explorer or Mac Finder. It's super tedious. Folder File Max fixes that by putting a highly secure visual file explorer directly inside a ComfyUI node. You get thumbnails generated on the fly, you can filter media with regex, and even preview files through an integrated lightbox. It keeps you entirely focused within the app. Plus, it's secure. It silently blocks access outside of ComfyUI's allowed routes unless you specifically grant it.
And moving to another awesome UI tool, the List Selector Max, we have the number 82. That is the exact number of starter files included right away in the Node Starter Pack. This tool lets you do multi-group line selection from text or CSV files. In practical terms, for dynamic, randomized prompt generation, you can pull a random lighting style, a random subject, and a random camera angle all at the exact same time. It's an absolute must-have if you're building complex prompt matrices.
Now, to manage all this data flying around, the suite gives you dynamic splitters, dynamic roads, and execution gates. Think of these as intelligent traffic cops. They route or halt your data instantly. And what makes them so absolutely crucial is how they handle roadblocks. In standard ComfyUI, if one single branch of a workflow fails, the whole thing crashes. Not here. These gates emit a clean execution blocker if a flow gets blocked. It safely stops the downstream graph perfectly, without throwing any workflow-breaking errors.
Finally, Section 5, Modular Color Pro. These are the LIMPs, your creative finishing tools.
What you're getting here is basically a modular Photoshop-style grading pipeline natively inside ComfyUI. Instead of generating your image, exporting it, opening up another program to fix the colors, and then saving it again, you can just string together highly specific nodes. We're talking channel mixers, vibrance adjustments that actually protect skin tones, and an interactive RGB curves editor. These powerful emitters feed straight into a Color Pro receiver, giving you ultimate control over your shadows, midtones, and highlights without ever breaking your concentration.
But the professional capabilities really shine with the LUT generator. Get this. You can literally feed it a before and after image, and it will reverse engineer that exact color grade. It calculates the differences and generates your very own reusable 3D LUT files in the .cube format right on the fly. You can then take that captured cinematic look and instantly apply it to any future image using the companion LUT Manager node. And once you've got your colors totally dialed in, you use the Image Comparer V2. This is an interactive visual slider that is optimized perfectly for the new ComfyUI Nodes 2.0 interface. Honestly, there is something incredibly satisfying about just scrubbing an A/B slider directly on the canvas. You slide back and forth, comparing your original raw generation against your newly color-graded output in real time, just to make sure everything looks absolutely spot on.
So we've moved from a cluttered, messy web of cables to a beautifully elegant, intelligent system. By treating ComfyUI as a true programmable pipeline rather than just a static graph, you completely eliminate the friction between your initial idea and your final image. With the spaghetti wiring gone and replaced by powerful Python scripting and wireless routing, ComfyUI truly becomes a blank canvas for your logic. So with all that friction finally out of the way, what ambitious workflow are you going to build first? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.